So tonight's guest is somebody that is indescribably special to me. He's indescribably special to an entire community of people. I love this guy like he was my own brother. He was one of the 6 men that carried my son's casket at his funeral. There aren't enough good things for me to say about PJ Broome. I'm glad you guys are all going to get to know him in this episode. Welcome to Burnham Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Burnham. Okay. Are we rolling?
Get some audio test.
All right, cool. Can you put that back in?
Yeah, that was a rough one, boy.
It was.
Yeah.
So we're rolling. Right? Isn't that what you just said?
Nice.
Yeah. You know what I like about you?
Say it again.
What I like about you, and I've been on your podcast
Yeah, several times.
3 or 4
3 or 4
times.
times.
You're one of like the rare people that doesn't change when you know that it's like on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'd probably be worse at whatever I'm doing if I did.
Yeah.
So just stick with what works.
Yeah. Just you're just like unapologetically PJ all the time.
Yeah.
Whether the camera's rolling or
You like that about me? There's plenty of people that I think don't like that about me.
There may be people that don't, man, but like that's what I told you the other night.
They can kick rocks?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But when I said, hey, you should be on my podcast, and you were like, I don't know what we're going to do. I was like, you just come on and be PJ.
I can do that.
And tell you always got some wild story.
Yeah, some dumb stories. I think it's just I remember the details. And if I don't remember, I just make them up. I think
that's the best part. I think it's all the details.
I'm like I always tell people I'm like the old guy at the dump. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm training to be. You know, when I'm 70 or however old that guy is, he might be 304. I don't know. At least, yeah. But yeah, I think that's why they always hate me. All the old guys at the dump is because they can feel that I'm going to take their job.
You're unseating them.
Yeah, they can feel it. I don't know if it's the double denim or what it is, but the fact that I still say sir, that might be it.
Yeah,
that's kind of rare for someone as baby face as me. But they can tell I'm going to like kick him out of the saddle,
Well, I mean, if he's already 314, he's just not going to live forever.
Yeah.
So by the time he lives another 45 years, and you're 75
I'm getting into my dump working prime. Yeah, about 70, right. I think. Yeah, judging by most of the guys that work there. Anyways.
Yeah. It's been disappointing lately. Like out at our dump in Shannon, the guys have been like 60. I'm like, what are you doing here, bro? Like, go get a job,
I grew up in Subligna, and we lived, there used to be a dump on Farmersville Road, and it's not there anymore. Mm-hmm. Probably not enough people to dump into it, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't know what, it couldn't have been expensive. It had like a dumpster, and they emptied it like every 3 weeks or something, it seemed like. But I would take our trash off on our four-wheeler because we lived like a half mile away.
Right.
And the guy that worked it was named, I'm not making this up, Cotton McGraw.
Cotton
McGraw, who ran the dump on Old Somerville and the intersection of Old Somerville and Little Egypt. Yeah.
Little Egypt.
And if that isn't the most country thing, maybe even borderline white trash.
It's got to be.
Cotton McGraw. And he was a big-time coon hunter. Yeah, so anyways, he always, he was like my standard of a dump man. And he had to be, I don't know how, 80, had to be 80.
Well, maybe perspective's a little different
when
you were 12 or whatever.
Yeah, I lived there between the ages of 6 and 14. So,
So he might have been 50.
Yeah, you know what? He might have. Nah, he wasn't 50. There's no way. And the only time I never saw him in a vehicle. He drove his four-wheeler to work. Mm-hmm. And would go everywhere. Like, I saw him at a funeral once, and he drove his four-wheeler there. Yeah. So Ted Touchstone's funeral. I don't know. He's a pretty.
Cotton McGraw would drive a four-wheeler to the funeral,
drove
right?
His four-wheeler was a Bayou, Kawasaki Bayou. All I'm pretty sure that was a Kawasaki, right?
I think so.
Anyways, he drove his Bayou to Ted's Touchstones. It was a beautiful funeral.
Man, I'm sure it was.
A beautiful funeral. Yeah, spread his ashes up there. But anyways, so that's your starter story. There you go.
Yeah, I got one under our belt.
Yeah, so that's my standard of a dump guy. That's going to be me. That's like my dream job. Just stand out there and irritate the young kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make them open their trash bags to make sure that there's not cardboard in it.
Dead animals or car batteries.
You know what I mean? My wife loves to, God bless her, but she loves to stuff trash in the cardboard boxes. And then she's a beautiful young lady, and she can throw her cardboard wherever she wants when she goes. But, you know, I'm not that.
When you have to take it,
So then the guy gets a hold of me. He's like, hey, why you got trash in this box? You can't throw that box in here. So I have to dump out all the trash and then break down the box. And then it's been in the rain for 2 days because I forgot to go for 2 days. So it's in the back of my truck. And now it's like, you know, anyways, I don't know how we got on that. We're going to do a lot of this for the next hour.
We'll do it. We'll chase all the rabbits. It'll be great.
Yeah.
But like Jessica would put this mic stand in a trash bag, you know, and all the little points are poking out through the bag.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she'd like fold it up and stuff it in there. So then they want to know, what's that? And I know it's just my wife threw this in here. It's fine, I promise.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's so aggravating.
Yeah.
God bless them, though. We need them.
We do.
Because, like, I'm sure I'm sitting here griping about how she does her trash. I'm sure she's got a lot more important things that she can gripe at about me, you know. I'm working on them, sort of. The ones I want to. That's kind of how I am.
Yeah.
You know, I like to pretend like I like to work on things, on myself in particular. But really, it's just I like to work on the things that I like to work on.
Well, you got a little one that's just almost 2.
She will be 16 months.
Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
In a few days, like a week or something.
Yeah, you and her are close in birthdays, right?
Yeah, so my birthday is November 8th. Kara's birthday is November 15th. And Aurora's birthday is November 18th.
Oh, okay.
So
nice
3 birthdays within, so what it is I have a birthday, and then they have a birth month. And we celebrate from the 9th till, Christmas, we're celebrating their birthday. Well, it seems like.
That's kind of where I was going when I brought her up. You talked about working on things, and so some of that changes when you have a kid. Certainly when you have 2 or 3 of them, and then you just can't leave your socks in the sink anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not an option.
It's weird. Some of that happens like you don't even have to work on it.
Yeah.
It's like a light switch. Well, like you were designed that way.
A wise guy with a red beard told you that some of that would happen.
Yeah, where it's just like, okay, like you don't do that anymore. And I don't know, it wasn't a conscious decision to be better about that. Like eating. Eating's a thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at remembering to eat. I'll eat.
It's not where I thought you were going with that.
Yeah, I'll go 3 days eating in 1,000-calorie deficit, and then feel really poorly and be like, why do I feel awful? And then be like, oh, it's because I haven't eaten. I've eaten a bag of chips every day for the past 3 days, and that's it. So, but with her, can't do that. She stays with me all day. Mom goes to work at 6. So me and the baby hang out all day until Mom gets off at 3. And, you can't forget to feed. I mean, but it wasn't something where I had to, I need to remember to feed. It's just like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Other things I do have to consciously, work on, to do better by her. But, the big things, you kind of just check those boxes.
Yeah. It just becomes
I might forget my meals, but I never forget hers type stuff.
Right. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's a lot of fun having a little one. It's hard.
Oh man, you're crushing it though.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing well. I mean, I do my very best, and I know plenty of people that haven't done their very best, and those people turn out to be great people too. You know what I mean? A lot of the time. So if I just do my very best, and oh my gosh, I'm blessed with the best wife ever. I tell everybody that, and I think everybody tells everybody that, but I genuinely mean it. You know what I mean?
Well, let's brag on Kara for a minute,
dude. Kara's top tier.
For you to do what you do for a living,
takes some support.
It was going to require the perfect woman for you.
Yeah, it takes all kinds of support.
Yeah.
And the right type of person to understand what I'm doing. Because when we met, I was already training jiu-jitsu. Yeah. I was already wrestling. At the time, I thought I was going to fight MMA. My body didn't really cooperate with that. MMA is hard.
It is.
It's hard mentally. And I'm sure a lot of guys are struggling with injuries and stuff, but I was already having some kind of serious injuries, and I had never even had my first fight.
Right.
And I think that was probably a big reason I never took the leap and did my first fights, because I was dealing with a shoulder dislocation every practice, at least one, and I probably dislocated my shoulder. You tell somebody that knows anything about shoulder dislocations, if you've dislocated your shoulder 50 times, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mine is so bad I can dislocate it right now and it'll pop
Please
back in.
don't.
Yeah,
Please
I'm not
don't
gonna
do
do it. But like I can, and it doesn't really hurt. It's uncomfortable. You know,
Right.
that's how serious mine got. I was punching people in their face and my arm was dislocating.
Yikes.
Yeah, so it was like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna be hard to fight. You know, but then I kind of shifted towards the coaching. That was a big thing that pushed me into coaching, was I couldn't be selfish as much anymore.
So let's back up just for a second, because there's going to be people that listen to this that don't know who you are.
Yeah, that's fair.
You are a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu coach.
Yep, that's what I do for a
Professionally.
living. Yep, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, to think about. I own a gym right here on Broad Street. It's called Scramble Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and Wrestling. You've had a lot of people that are intertwined with our community, which is cool. I like that. I like that we are able to synergy or whatever.
Well, I mean, nobody gets mad at Rogan for having a stream of comedians on his podcast, right? I bring on jiu-jitsu guys.
I love that, and it's beautiful, and it's just crazy how small of a world it is, you know?
Yeah.
But, so I do that. I coach half the adult classes, and I do all the kids' classes on a regular week. And so pray for me. That's all that means. But
what's the schedule like?
Busy.
Yeah.
For the gym, we go 7 days a week.
Right.
You know, we do a wrestling class on Sunday year round, but we're seasonal on Sunday for jiu-jitsu. So I only have to be there 3 or 4 months in a row, and then I get to take 2 or 3 months off. But on Sunday. But otherwise, I'm there 6 days a week.
Saturday classes, the morning and evening classes.
Yep. And so on my quote unquote off days, they're not really an off day. I have to go.
Yeah.
But my least busy day, I only have to be there for an hour and a half, like today.
Right.
Today's a Monday. Jason teaches Monday morning, right? So, and then I go in the afternoon and teach the kids, and then he teaches the adults class afterwards. So I'm only there for an hour and a half, which that's not bad. It's kind of right in the meat of the day, where it is a sacrifice still.
Right.
I have 0 afternoons with my wife, you know. During the week.
Yeah.
You know, which is hard.
Sure, it scrambled from 4:30 to 6:30.
Yeah, I get there about 4:45 and I leave about 6:45. So, you know, about 2 hours as I'm there. You know, classes are only an hour and a half, but so yeah, pretty busy for me. And then on my busy days, I'm there for 7 hours a day, you know, or something like that. It's like 5, every bit of 6, because I got to do morning class, both kids' classes, and then both afternoon classes. So, I mean, it's a lot. But
so any woman listening right now has just agreed that your wife is a special
saint.
person.
Dude, she's special. She's so special.
Yeah.
And I was doing this. This is what people don't understand about carrot, is it's easy to look at the fruit on the tree, which, don't get me wrong, there's not a lot of fruit, okay? But the fruit on the tree and be like, yeah, like, you know, what she does is difficult. But it's not like, no, what she does is supernatural, I think, to support me in this, because I was doing this when I was a kid, and everybody that I love dearly, and they love me dearly, but a bunch of people, adults that I look up to, were telling me, you need to quit on this, and you can do it. That's going to be a hobby, and you need to get a real job, and you need to get a career and an education, or you need to choose something. Yeah. Go to lineman school. You know, or go to college, or go to Coca-Cola, or to go to, you know,
when you did some of that,
union
right?
Plumbing.
Yeah.
I did a lot of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was hard for people you love so much to hear them say, like, you need to quit on this. And, you know, and I can't blame, I'm not mad at them.
Yeah,
you know?
that's not the traditional way to go.
No, you know, and it makes sense. I understand why they were saying it, you know, and there's a lot of people still telling a lot of people that out there, you know, right now, this very second, you know, but we live in a world where I am not good at a lot of things, but I am persistent. And I don't mean like a David Goggins persistent. I just mean like, you know, I'm not crazy.
Goggins is too much.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. I'm just stubborn, you know, and just kind of, if I don't do it today, I'll revisit it tomorrow type thing, you know. And so I was doing this schedule when I had a job, you know, and we were dating. Yeah. And then we bought a house, you know, and I was doing this schedule. I was leaving at 4 a.m. and going and training in the morning and not seeing her when she went off to work. I was already gone, you know, and then I would leave there and either go to work. I had nice college try at college,
Yeah,
for
too.
3 semesters.
Me too.
And it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. I'm not too proud to admit that. I'm just not a good student. Yeah. But my wife supported me through the real job, union plumbing, and then also training the whole time and competing. And then she supported me through being a janitor at a primary school. And the reason I kept doing it is because the schedule was so cool. I could still go to wrestling practice after I got off work for working 10 or 12 hours, run straight to wrestling practice and coach at the high school, and then oftentimes leave there and go to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So just wouldn't see her, and I would do a 16, 17-hour day. And, I always tell people that, it wasn't supposed to be me owning the gym, but the biggest difference in me and a lot of people that it could have been, should have been, whatever, was I treated it like a job before it was my job.
Yeah.
But the reason I could do that is because I was not competing against my, significant other, or she a girlfriend, fiance, wife, for if I could go or not.
Yeah.
She was supportive of that. And I mean, that alone is impressive and rare for someone our age, especially. But she could tell, I was passionate about it,
right?
And she would say, I'm not going to get in your way. If that's something
That's
that you feel
awesome.
like you need to do, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And I was blessed with her for that. And dude, as good as a wife as she is, because she's an amazing wife, she blows me away at how good of a mom she is.
Oh, man.
The amount of effort that someone can put in and thought and just tedious care, Our baby was 2 months premature, 8 weeks premature. And 3 weeks before that, at 29 and a half weeks into our pregnancy, she went into preterm labor. And it was scary, first kid and everything. We don't know what we're doing.
Right.
And so she spends, it was kind of a blur. I think we did 8 days in the hospital.
Yeah, it's
and
always a blur.
6 days at home or something like that. But that ad doesn't math up. We did 16 days. But we went, and they were like, okay, you're having contractions. You're trying to have the baby. Your body is trying to have this baby. You do not need to have this baby this early.
Right.
And they beat around the bush, they're doctors, and they got to be they want to be discreet about things. And then finally I just told them, was like, hey, listen, please give her a hard goal, of something that she can work towards. Because if you keep being you don't need to have it now, you need to have it later type, this
when
vague.
Is later.
Yeah. Just give her something. She's the type of person that she will sit here and worry herself to death if you don't tell her something. And they said, you need to stay pregnant 2 weeks. You need to stay pregnant for 2 weeks. And my wife had contractions every 5 minutes for 16 days and not saved my baby's life, but put her in a much better situation to live a life that is perfectly normal. She's a perfectly healthy baby.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And not that she wouldn't have been 16 days before that, but they weren't giving her, they sent the NICU person in, or whatever it was, the premature baby person in, to tell you all the terrible things that might happen. Oh. And I never even thought that was an option. You're sitting there and you're going to have your baby premature, and then someone has to come and tell you the risks of this because it's going to happen. So they went and sent that person to, and that's terrifying, But, my wife is just a superhero. Because you hear people talk about how terrible contractions are and how hard labor is and everything.
I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, but she did it for 16 days,
Geez.
I mean, no epidural, nothing. She woke me up at 3 a.m. says, okay, we're having our baby.
Yeah, it's just time.
We got to go.
Yeah.
And, so she did and did great with that. And we got a perfectly healthy baby. And she's such a good mom now, too, to her. I'm only me because of Kara, because I have Kara. I would not be able to be me for these people that I'm able to be me for, if it wasn't for Kara. So I'm very, very lucky, and I could never brag on her enough,
We talked about the adjustments that we make as men, when we have a kid or when we get married, and the things that we're working on.
Yeah.
But and then some of that just comes out of necessity, but there's nothing like the mom instinct that takes over.
Oh my gosh.
When
it's incredible.
Women have a baby, they just become a different person.
Yeah. And people tell you this all the time, Trip, Durden explained it to me.
Yeah.
He's very good at explaining things. And, this is kind of common knowledge now that I'm a dad and talk about dad things with people. But to me, I didn't know it at the time. The moment the lady finds out she's pregnant, she's a mom, that moment.
Yeah.
You know? And she's just pregnant. She's 6 weeks pregnant. She finds out she's pregnant. She's a mom now. And dads aren't dads until they see their baby for the first time.
Right.
And I'm going to say that was like 90% true with me. I really felt like, I was working for more than me, at some point in our pregnancy. Maybe not the moment I found out, but yeah, when you can hold your baby for the first time, which was terrifying. We didn't get to see our baby for 4 hours, Didn't get to hold her. They just rushed her out of the room.
Wow.
Which was, didn't tell us how she was doing, and all that. But, yeah, so when you get to hold your baby for the first time, or, to be honest with you, it's such a blur, and we were so sleep deprived from 16 days of labor that I can't even remember right now in this moment if I got to hold her first or just see her in the NICU. I think we got to hold her. It took a little while. It took her a little while to take her out of the little fish tank thing.
Yeah, the little bubble they're in.
Yeah, a little gerbil cage.
Yeah.
But when you get to see him, oh my gosh. Then you're a dad. But she's been a mom for, in our case, 7 months or whatever. But yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible. So yeah, it's cool to see how much she's grown. And we all have our faults. And Kara's like kind of anxious. I think that's common for ladies.
Yeah.
To be a little anxious and a little, on edge and
stuff. You
stuff.
don't be the mom that's doing it wrong.
Yeah. But the way she deals with it now that she is a mom is so much more like effective and efficient and healthy. Yeah. Would be the 3 words I would use to describe how she deals with her anxiety and stuff now. She just grabs it now a little bit. It doesn't take her over quite as hard. She's kind of got she puts up a fight now. You know what I mean? And controls it and bottles is up for later when the baby's asleep and she can have her little meltdown. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's really cool. I'm really blessed. She's so tough. She's so tough. Yeah.
Oh, it was going to take that exact, I say that when, God makes us, he makes our wives with us in mind and vice versa.
I really feel like that because we just complement each other well, and
you do, man. Yeah,
and I'm kind of cool-headed, when it gets hard, is it actually hard?
Right.
And I had a pretty good family really growing up and everything, but we had some hardship too. We weren't, I won't get on to all of it, but it was hard too when I was a kid.
What is the thing you say about the plunger? What's the plunger deal?
Yeah, when you the difference in me and most people is that when they see the toilet bowl, water rising in the toilet bowl, they panic, and I just get the plunger and go to work.
There you go.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to describe. It's actually a good quote. Gabriel loves that quote.
Who does?
Gabriel. Gabriel loves it when I say that. But yeah, I'm pretty good at that, and I compliment her well. She's the type of person that compliments me well because if you told me, hey, PJ, we need to record this podcast by the end of the week. It's going to be Friday at 11 p.m.
Right, yeah.
Oh, crap, I got to get a hold of Danny.
Right.
You know what I mean? That is not her. She's like, I just don't understand how you can do that when there's work to be done and time to do it.
Yeah.
Why are you not doing it? And that compliments me really well and gets me busy, So much so it's like... when I realized, oh my gosh, it's 3:00, Kara's about to be home, I need to clean up some. You know what I mean? I gotta clean up real quick before she gets home and sees that I haven't done enough today.
That's how it was in our house.
But that's healthy. That's good, Yeah. And I get frustrated with her, and she gets frustrated with me. I think that's healthy too, to be frustrated and be able to voice that, and not be scared of one another.
Right.
Because I tell you right now, she ain't scared of me. She's scared of me.
Black belt in jiu-jitsu.
No, dude.
Your 120-pound wife ain't afraid of you.
I've only ever seen my wife in a couple tussles.
Okay. Don't tell on her now. This is
sweet
little Kara.
You don't want, nuh-uh. You don't want to grab that. She's rough. I seen her grab a head full of hair one time and Undertaker choke slammed somebody one time. I won't say who to embarrass them, but
Let's not.
She
Yeah.
did. It was beautiful. It was amazing. That's how I knew I was going to marry her. We were about
That was
16,
it.
17. I was like, oh my gosh.
What in the Armurchie, Georgia is going on?
It was amazing.
That's fantastic.
But, no, yeah, she's a great wife. And
God
we've got a
bless
great kids. It's amazing. I mean, all kids are amazing. It's my passion. It's what it sounds cliche or whatever, but I genuinely feel like I was crafted by God to work with kids. Like I'm a tool for a purpose.
Yeah.
And, I don't have like knowledge, which is all stuff I can fix, but I don't have like knowledge on like scripture or stuff like that. I'm not super informed, but like my way of like ministering to people is just like presence, like full-hearted, like no distractions. I'm really good at tuning stuff out and giving a kid 100% of me.
Yeah.
And so I love working with kids, and I tell you firsthand, they're all special. I've worked with hundreds, thousands, if not thousands of them over the past 15 years or so, and they're all special. But gosh, mine's just specialer. It feels like what I mean.
Yeah. Everybody thinks their kids are special, but mine really are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm so lucky. She's so mischievous. She's got this mischievous little
she's
smile.
just started walking, right?
Yeah, she's walking.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's crazy, And it's just so funny to see how we hit that about 3 weeks ago where she went from like you're trying to teach her things and she can kind of like replicate it to now she can copy you.
Right.
Like now. She'll tell people,
boy.
shh, like be quiet. If you say, tell them to be quiet, she'll go, shh. And that right there is the funnest trick to tell people at the gym.
Yeah.
Because she comes to work with me, So at 9 a.m., I take my daughter to work with me with a bunch of tough guys,
Right.
at the gym. And she gets to grow up around them and hang out on the mat with us and stuff. And, I tell her to be scary. And she'll go,
I love her scary face. That's the best.
yeah, like things like that, and learning to walk and copying you and doing what you do.
Yeah.
And, she'll see you cleaning up, so she starts cleaning up type stuff. Like, I don't know, it's just really cool. It's a cool process being a dad and getting to watch them grow up.
Yeah.
But
the doing what you do thing, though, is scary.
What do you mean?
Well, like they watch you, right?
Oh.
And when you road rage and at a red light,
Yeah.
or that word comes out and then
Yeah.
they say it and you go,
Which is she just hasn't done anything like that yet. She can kind of talk. She'll say things.
Yeah.
She tries to say a lot of words, and we know what she's trying to say at this point, but she can't really say a whole lot. Cleanly.
Right.
But so that hadn't happened to me a whole lot. But yeah, like I can tell she's watching. She's a sponge.
Yeah.
And I remember not when I was that young, but I remember when I was 2 or 3, and you watch your parents have a fight or have fun or play a game or whatever it was, drive, and you're like emulating that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and I see it a lot at the gym too. You know, I had a speech today at the gym. We have kids that are high-ranking kids standing in the front, and everyone else stands in lines behind them. And so I need this front line to be like,
It better be on, yeah.
Yes, because literally the whole room's looking at you.
Right.
So, like, I don't mean like, a little bit, kind of good. I mean like military type. Like, get your toes on the line, stand up straight, be quiet, tie your belt, look good doing it, and behave. So they want to replicate you. You know what I mean? So I get to see that a lot, but it's really cool when it's your own kid.
Yeah.
I'm really, really lucky. I'm blessed, and that's when I kind of pivoted off the MMA thing. When I thought I was going to do that and be like a pro athlete and all this, and I started coaching, and I kind of was good at it, and it's not even that I'm good at it. I just care. I just care more than other coaches.
Man, that's what puts you over the top, though.
Yeah.
You, and then it comes naturally to like Gabriel Brown. Jason's got to work at it.
He's good
but
at it.
When
He's good at it.
No, Jason's a great coach.
He's good at it when it's adults, especially.
Well,
sometimes with the kids,
right.
even the little kids are fine, but like that tough age to work with, like 11, or maybe like 8 to like 14, you can see he's like.
Well, he's going to beat me up if I don't finish this thought because
go
it
ahead.
sounds terrible because
No,
I'm
go
like,
ahead.
Jason needs to get better. when you open your mouth, when Gabriel opens his mouth, love comes out.
Oh yeah.
Like I coach this guy love, and I guess it's Jason is the same way. But when he's like, man, you really suck at that.
Yeah.
It's different than when you're like, come on, you can do it. It's just a different dynamic.
Yeah. Well, also, Jason. We can get into this. Jason takes his grappling and really anything that Jason wants to be good at.
Yeah.
He takes it very serious.
Yeah.
Much more serious than me.
Yeah.
I can't take it that serious. I'm very persistent, and I'm going to show up every day, but don't expect me to not be goofy or to whine a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to whine because I think it's funny.
It is a little bit, yeah.
And I'm going to do 3 times as much as the next guy, but I'm going to whine 3 times as much as well.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny. He won't whine. He thinks it's he won't show weakness, and that's like, just a little bit who he is. And he takes it very serious and he studies hard. So as coaches, it's a lot like as parents. From what I've noticed is we turn into the parents we kind of wanted a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
a lot of what, who parented us is who we turn into a little bit, but also, if there was one thing that your mom did do that you didn't like or didn't do that you wish you would have done, you end up doing it.
Right.
Same as coaches. He wanted a coach that was like direct and no fluff, and because that's how he learns most effectively.
Though, when you've got the technique right, because he just doesn't say anything at all.
Yeah.
He's never going to be like, that's great. That's just not his way.
No, he's
But
got
he'll tell
bigger
you if you're
things to
stinking
do
it up.
because he's got to go to the next group and tell them how they messed it up,
Right.
which is it's good and you need
it's
it.
great.
And I describe it as bad cop, good cop. Like he's bad cop, I'm good cop.
Well, you guys balance each other out.
He describes his mom and mom and dad because he's rude and he likes to call me mom, which is fine,
That's the dynamic, though.
It is though.
Yeah.
He has a very disciplinary style of love with his students, and I have a very nurturing type love with my students, and we complement each other really well. And I think that's why we're so successful in what we do, especially to people that are open to being coached. If you come in that place consistently and you are open to being coached, it's scary how fast you improve. You know what I mean? So, I'm very lucky to have him too. It's because running that gym with him is a lot like a marriage in a way.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like I have to compliment him and he has to compliment me. And there's some things that we don't compliment each other on. And thank goodness we have other people around to help us with those things. Especially these days because, man, we were struggling. We struggled for a long time of doing certain type stuff because we both stink at it.
You guys are not business people.
No, we didn't get into
fighters,
jiu-jitsu
you're grapplers.
to make $1 million, or whatever. And we would love that, but that's not why
somebody's got to do the taxes and pay the light bill, stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's just not our strong suit.
Right.
And he's a lot like me in the sense that things he wants to be good at, he is phenomenal at.
Yeah.
And things he doesn't want to be good at, you probably never see him do it.
Yeah.
He'll never do it. He'll just ignore it. And I'm that way too a little bit, But so it is different. But we're very lucky to have him. I'm very lucky to have him because I'm a little bit easygoing, on the mat. And even with myself, I'm having fun. And I very rarely roll like super hard, rolling being like the going live.
Or sparring.
Sparring, yeah. And it's good for him to be critical of me. And it doesn't hurt my feelings for him to be critical of me, and it's good. And, we went to Ohio once and I got beat. I beat 2 very good guys, I thought. 2 hard matches. And I was in the semis and I was kind of getting the better of a guy that we all expected to beat me up. And not like I was killing him, just like I showed that I could compete with this level of athlete, and I think that surprised him. It kind of surprised me, and Jason too.
Yeah.
And then I got overconfident and got beat. Because it surprised me to the point of like arrogance.
Right.
Which I am susceptible to.
Like, man, I'm doing pretty good right now. That's the last thing you want.
Yeah. Like I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And Jason, as soon as I lost, it was kind of a tough
I've
loss
heard
for me.
this story before.
He went directly to me and told me.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like, Yeah, it was, you know?
Yeah, but he loves you enough, though, to say it that way.
Yeah.
And it's made an impact on you, and you remember that moment, and you're never going to do that thing again.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. And that's why he's saying it.
Right.
That's why he's saying it. And, you know, he also, quote unquote, tough guys, the generation of jiu-jitsu people that we come from, he's before me, but like all the way up until a very recent generation of jiu-jitsu players were like tough guys.
Right.
And we're not easy to coach. It's hard to convince us of anything.
Yeah.
It's like I could go and do the same thing against that same athlete and think I'm going to win as I walk out there again.
Right.
You know, so you kind of have to be, you know, harsh.
That direct
My sister
way.
always told my dad when he was coaching her and everything, she was a great athlete. Quit talking to me in your dog voice is what she would say. But, you know, because how you talk to a dog when you're scolding it.
Yeah.
But he was just coaching hard.
It's just tone of voice for Phil.
Yeah,
right?
which is hilarious. Yeah, that is so funny. Don't talk to me in your dog voice, which is such a good. I mean, she was like 6 years old when she said that, but it was just the best way for her to describe that type of coaching.
Yeah,
and I need that. You know, I'm kind of hard headed and stubborn and persistent would be a flattering word for it. You know?
A lot of the time, as far as grappling goes, you're the best guy in the room.
Yeah,
and
you know,
that's tough to be that guy all the time.
You know, I'm a lot of the times the most experienced.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lot of the time the best in shape as far as like longevity of the roles and all that. And I'm not arrogant enough to think that like there aren't people that train with us that aren't better at me at a dozen things, you know, because we have a lot of people that are better at me in a lot of things, you know. But yeah, a lot of times I am one of the more experienced or better, more successful.
Yeah.
We'll call it more successful.
What's your job? It's what you do every day, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm there twice a day, most days of the week, and hours and hours and hours a week. And like my 1 week, I'm probably training more than 90% of our entire gym in a month. You know, you take their whole month, it's less than my 1 week. You know, so that's a lot to do.
So is it a conscious like effort that you have to make to not be like, well, I'm better than everybody in this room, or is it you just laid back PJ?
I'm so bad.
Yeah,
I've never been good at anything. Like just because I'd showed up.
Yeah,
there are people out there that can just show up to things and they're good and they know who they are and they can pretend like they're not that. But you know, God gifted them with something that they have and the others don't. And it puts them ahead of other people, and they know how to utilize it and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have that. My greatest trait is that when you think you're good enough and you're going to kind of take your foot off the gas a little bit, I'm just going to keep plugging away at it. Mm-hmm. And the best thing about me is I'm just, like you said when we opened the podcast, I'm just not scared to look stupid.
Yeah.
Like I'll lose to people, you know, and that's like my superpower.
Yeah.
Is that I will go and lose to people that you think I shouldn't lose to, but I'll go and do it with dignity and not that I like doing it because I'm a terrible loser. I hate it.
Yeah.
But I will do it, and a lot of people won't. You know, when they think that they're too good for Naga, which is a tournament, a local tournament. For the jiu-jitsu guys out there, they'll know. But it's just like a local rinky-dink type tournament, you know. Yeah. It's the Walmart of jiu-jitsu, okay? And when people think they're too good for the Walmart of jiu-jitsu and they want to shop at Target, you know, they quit losing to certain type of people. And now they're only losing to guys that are on this level in their mind. So they're up here, you know. But I'm not scared to go to Naga and get beat up. You know, that's why a lot of the times at my brackets, there aren't people in my weight. So I end up going up a weight class or two and just kind of losing a nail biter or getting hammered or whatever, or getting broke off, which has happened to me before, you know, and breaking something. I'm not too scared to do that, you know, call it whatever, like dumb. Maybe I'm dumb enough to do it again, but I enjoy it. I like that process. I like, you know, baptism under fire type, like get in there and just
find
suck
out.
at it until you don't.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not hard for me to say, because I don't think I'm the best in the room. And like, you take the top 5 guys out of our gym and you throw them away, I still don't think I'm the best in the room, you know? And then you take the next 5 guys, I'm probably still not the best in the room. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that can show me things and I'm humble enough. And, you know, I'm good and I'm experienced and I'm more successful than most people in our gym. at jiu-jitsu and in grappling.
Successful is probably the word I should have used.
Most successful is the best way to say it. Just because you're most successful does not make you the best.
That's true, yeah.
It doesn't make you the most knowledgeable. It doesn't make you the most valuable, for sure. It's just you're more successful.
Yeah.
Like that's, who cares?
Yeah, but we all benefit from that, though. Everybody that trains down there benefits from your success and experience the same way we do from Jason.
Yeah, you're right. And we're very lucky to have what we have down there. It's a very healthy place for people. I feel like it's a place that, for anyone that doesn't have a place like that, I feel sorry for.
Man, it is like, I don't want to call it a cult. It's not a cult. I hate using that word.
It's as close as you can be without being an unhealthy thing.
I feel like, that's a good way to say it. I wish that my church is fantastic, but I wish the church was more like what we have in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because like I could get my phone out right now and go into our Facebook group and be like, hey, there's like 8 dudes on Broad Street trying to fight me right now. And I feel like people from our gym would just come up and be like, all right, let's do it. Or I've got to move on Saturday.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to build a deck on the back of my house or whatever. Yeah. And people come out.
We're just blessed with that. Yeah. And, it comes from the leadership. Jason and I work really hard for that. Yeah. We work really hard for that. Yeah. And it's not an easy thing to maintain. It's a lot of energy. I'm always talking about the culture of our gym is the most important thing about the gym. Mm-hmm. It's not, for anybody who goes to their jiu-jitsu gym and only gets the jiu-jitsu out of it,
man,
that I feel so bad.
You've wasted your time.
To compare it back to the church, anybody goes to church and only gets the script, like only gets the information out of their church, I feel bad for you. Yeah. You deserve a community. Yeah. You deserve somebody that's there for you when, you just need a hug.
You know more scripture than you think.
Do I?
Yeah. That's Hebrews 10:25 talks about going to church and gathering together and like how we're not supposed to forsake that. We're supposed to get together. That's funny. Our church started during COVID. Yeah. But when they were like, hey, you can't meet together. But it talks about being together and lifting each other up and strengthening each other and all these things. So you know more than you think.
Well, I didn't grow up in church.
Yeah.
My dad sort of tried to take us some. It was the one out there in our Murchie where the Marathon, the new gas station, is a Marathon in our Murchie over there near Bojangles.
Yeah.
They tore it down.
North Side.
North Side, that was what it was called. Yep, it was North Side.
It's out across the street from the high school.
I lived with my mom. So on my dad's weekends, he would take us to church sometimes. You know, he was a professional athlete, so he's out of town a lot of times.
Right.
So we'd be on the road, or I'd need to stay at his parents' house. Sometimes I go see them and stuff on his weekend. But I remember him trying to take us there for years. Probably go once every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And I didn't get anything out of it, to be honest. So I didn't grow up in church. I didn't have like overly religious family members either, I got gifted my grandmother's Bible. I never met her. It was my dad's mom. She died of cancer, I think 5 years before I was born. Oh, wow. Something like that. No, 3 years.
No overlap at all.
Yeah, no overlap at all. Never met her. But I got her Bible, and that was cool. And it helped me read it, having her notes. It helped me understand it. And it's the Living Bible, so it's like I don't read real good. You know what I mean? Like I have a really hard time focusing on something.
Yeah.
So like
it's super easy to read though.
Really easy to read. And it might be time for me to like level up one, but
we'll talk about it.
Yeah. I'll take your advice on anything with that. But she has her notes and highlighted and circled and wrote little notes. And she was going through cancer a lot of times with that. And but that helped me kind of. And I've always been like a Christian, or what I thought I was. Yeah. I didn't know what that was. I didn't have any examples of that, like true. You know what I mean? Yeah. I did, like the way people around me treated people. They were treating people as if they were a Christian, but they weren't like following it to a T by any means. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I was always kind of, identified as one. I got a tattoo when I was 19. It has a cross in it. You know,
well, it's your like Jesus and Jiu Jitsu kind of crossover tattoo, right?
Yeah, it's submit only to God's will.
Yeah.
You know, and I was reading that Bible and stuff, and I could tell that was real important. You know, and it's so funny to even talk about now. You know how dumb you are when you're 19.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the gist of it. Honestly, like to be Christ-like, love the people, love God, and that's what I got out of it as a 19-year-old.
If that's all you ever got out of it.
Just don't submit to these worldly things is what I was getting out of it. There's so many things that are obstacles, and it's so easy to worship these idols and stuff. And I was like, felt strongly about it, and it was a way for me to incorporate a word, submit, which is a very popular word in jiu-jitsu. It's what the whole sport.
It's the goal, right?
Yeah. It was a word that I felt strongly about.
Yeah.
And it was a way for me to like incorporate that. Yeah, I spent $100. Got a tattoo when I was 19.
You paid $100 for that tattoo?
Yeah. It's kind of expensive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
that's a lot for what you've got.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal was. He had to draw it. I don't know.
Tango, what are you paying for tattoos these days?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think my last one was like.
What was your "Don't Die" tattoo?
That one's like $50.
Yeah, see, mine's
Have you seen who's got "Don't Die" written like on your forearm right here?
Well, stay off one wheels.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
Stay off one wheel. We might make that happen. Yeah.
So this church and this Jesus thing is kind of circling back around for you though.
Yeah.
Recently, you're wearing a Grace City Church hat right now.
I didn't know we were recording this, but so
we'll
that worked out good. So had a kid. Never been in a church. My wife grew up in a church. She wants to get back into church, and I'm supportive of that. I always knew it's like going to the gym, right? John, our pastor, described it yesterday as it's like a muscle.
Yeah,
you got to work it out, and if you work it out every day, it's going to grow, and if you ignore it, it's going to atrophy.
Right.
And so I knew that, and so she wanted to get in a church, get our family in a church. Mm-hmm. And it just was perfect. We had talked about it a few times, and I just always had the hard time of jumping,
Yeah.
And there's a guy named Wayne, and I haven't talked to Wayne since the summer of 2018. Wayne trained jiu-jitsu with me for 6 months. Mm-hmm. And, we probably trained together 20 or 30 times in that 6 months. So not a lot, you know what I mean? And Wayne messaged me on Facebook one day in July and said, hey, can you send me your number? Or here's my number. Give me a call. That's what he said. And I called him. And I was like, I haven't talked to Wayne in forever. And when I did talk to Wayne, I liked Wayne a lot, but I wasn't like crazy close to Wayne. We'd do a 5 a.m. class or open mat that Steve and I would run, and we'd walk across the Waffle House, and then Wayne and I would walk back and do the second class. So we got to hang out a good bit. And called him, and he said, hey, I don't know why I just needed to call you, but I needed to call you. And I got the okay this week that I can invite someone to church. And I just thought maybe I needed to invite you. And I told Kara, I was like, well, we got to go.
Yeah.
We got it. Like, that's just too perfect,
right.
And, so I went. I really enjoyed it. Small group. And I've had a lot of fun with it. Mm-hmm. It's helping me a lot. And like I said, I don't pray like I should, and I don't read the Bible like I should. And
Most people don't.
And, I don't do a lot of things like I should, but I'm persistent.
Yeah.
And I'm chipping away at it. And I've always, like I described it earlier, as like my way of ministering was to be around, my presence, to give someone 100% of me for a moment.
Yeah.
And it means a lot. So I've done that, so that's not new to me.
Right.
And it's cool. It's really nice to have a place to go. And man, it's just like working out or something where you feel better. You feel better if you'll just do it, you know? And sometimes it's hard to get up in the morning and go work out, and sometimes you need to run errands. You have a busy day or whatever. Yeah. But dude, just go. Just go.
Once a week, right?
Yeah. It's really cool. And the name of the church is Grace City here in Rome. I'm having fun with it. It's a great group of guys. John, ministers to me a lot like Jason coaches jiu-jitsu to me.
Yeah.
Where it's no fluff.
Yeah.
He's not here to make me feel good about it.
Right.
Here's how it is. Here's where we mess up. Stew on that. And holler at me if you need me. And that's
the idea.
tough.
Yeah, he gives you like, this is the what for, and then you go home and you read the Bible and you pray and you figure out what that meant.
And I'm still working on all that.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard for me. But everything's hard for me.
It's hard for me, and I'm the guy in the front of the room on Sundays.
It should be hard.
Yeah.
It should be hard.
Yeah.
Same way as everything should be hard. If you're doing something the right way, it should not be always sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I have that mentality. My raising and my experience with jiu-jitsu and everything has given me that. It doesn't have to be easy and fluffy and nice. In fact, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's actually directly what it shouldn't be.
You're right. Yeah.
But it's cool to have a church that I can say that, like, I'm a member of that church. That's cool. That's neat.
Yeah.
I wish I could do more with them. I'm still working on trying to figure out a way to do more outside of Sunday at 1, because we're meeting at 1 right now. But I'm having a really hard time. And to be honest with you, I have a hard time going at 1 because the baby naps at 1. Yeah, you know what I mean?
1:30, that's our nap time.
It's so hard,
But the time just changed, so now's your chance.
Yeah.
Like it becomes easier.
Yeah.
You work things.
So, we're working at it.
Yeah.
Kara is really good for me. Goes back to it didn't matter if you wanted to do the laundry or not, PJ. Like, why are we not doing the laundry?
It's got to be done.
Yeah. It's like that again with
Yeah.
her. So she compliments me with that. And then I'm kind of the spark plug. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, gets excited about something. And so that we compliment each other well on that too. I'm learning a lot. You don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? And
right.
I'm not going to pretend to be an authority on anything. You know, when it comes to the church, like there's something like jiu-jitsu, I'm an authority on. I can say that.
Right.
But turkey hunting, I'm borderline an authority. I know I ain't been doing it long. I'm getting good at it.
You're well practiced at this point.
Well, I just obsess over it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend to be an authority on anything Christianity, Yeah. But I'm a decent student, and I'm working really hard at being a good student in that. And it's cool to know that I was doing a lot of the stuff right. I'm doing a lot of the big stuff wrong. It's easy to think that just having the faith is enough, you know. And it's easy to think the other side of that too a little bit, where it's like just doing the good works is enough.
Yeah.
And it's like,
or just having the head knowledge.
Yeah. Or just being able to regurgitate. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's. And actually, I can't quote it quote for quote. This goes to show that I'm not an authority on anything, because my favorite Bible verse, I can't even quote it perfect. But it's 2 Thessalonians 3:10, and we told you when we were here before, for he who does not work will not eat.
There you go. Yeah.
And so like that embodies everything, PJ, right there. It's like I just got to work at it, If I'm going to eat, if I'm going to, get anything out of this, just going to be persistent and keep getting after it, And
that's it, man. And I would say the same thing to you that I would say to any new believer, but especially in your case, because I know how you grab things and you obsess over them.
Yeah.
Until you just, you wear yourself out with them.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to figure all this out tomorrow.
Right.
It took you 10 years to get 12 years to get your black belt.
Yeah.
In 12 years, it'll be a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
As far as the things of God.
Every wrestler ever likes to think about the story of Jacob. And I like to think about it like that.
I've been talking about that all day. This is the third time that's come up today. Yeah, all day long.
Every wrestler ever loves that story.
Yeah.
So it's like that. I'm just going to keep struggling with it. And, if it whips me, it whips me, but I'm going to keep struggling with it.
Hang on, yeah.
Yeah, until the end,
Yeah.
But until he blesses me with a busted hip.
With a busted hip,
yeah.
whatever it takes.
I'm going to walk with a limp the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But, so that's cool, But church is fun. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm learning a lot. John's a really good pastor. You can tell he really cares. He's very passionate about it.
Yeah.
the person who thinks he's the funniest in the room is definitely him. You know, he's one of them. He is funny. He is funny. He's such a ham, but which I like too, because Jason's that way. I learned that way from people. My dad is that way when he was coaching me growing up. You know, so and that's what I think that was one of the hardest things for me is like I always felt like I was different than the church. You know, like I'm different. I don't fit in.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably a pretty common thing.
It is.
You know,
yeah. So many people think that,
but to meet John Lovell and he's in here doing it, it's like, okay, maybe I'm just using that as an excuse.
You are. Yeah.
Maybe I just need to shut up and go listen. But it is easy to, listen to someone that's like you, and understands you and your perspective.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm going to compare this a lot to jiu-jitsu, but
do it. Yeah.
For me, it's hard when I'm coaching a big guy for them to take my word for it because they're having a very different perspective than me.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I could be off base a little bit sometimes. But when a black belt like Nat Bomar tells a big guy something, it's like, okay, yeah, like I believe you.
Yeah.
And it's easy to receive. I'll say that. It's easy to receive. You don't have to be as good of a student to receive it from someone like you as you do to receive it from someone that's, and if we were all perfect jiu-jitsu students and perfect Christians, we could receive it from anybody.
It'd be easy, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, it ain't that way.
Right.
And so it's nice to have somebody that can talk tough guy to me when I'm messing up, and it's cool. I'm very lucky I'm lucky to have him, but I'm also very lucky to have you and have Trip and have these people that care about me. And I've asked you questions over the past. I've only been going to church since July, or maybe the first week in August. But to have people that I can lean on and ask questions to, to translate this, and everybody's going to translate it a little different too, and to have different translations in a way, or just even insert different word.
Yeah.
Like not even complete big picture translate, just like different word change, and the way it'll hit you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an authority on it. But to have people like that, it is nice. It makes me feel good to know that I have resources.
Well, what's funny on the other end of that, and I know some of the people that John has in his corner, but there are people that I will call and ask questions because I don't know.
Yeah.
The same way that you would text me as a brand new believer and be like, hey, what does it mean when, this, whatever Bible says about this or whatever.
Yeah,
I do the same thing.
Well, it's just important.
Yeah.
It's just important to do that. I don't care what it is. It could be anything. I do that with jiu-jitsu all the time. I'm going to do it with everything I do all the time. And that's it's just a beautiful part of having communities. Yeah. And that goes back to what we were saying. I'm lucky to be getting a lot more out of church than just church. Just there. I'm getting a community. I'm getting community people. And they talk about that a lot. And I'm really lucky to have that. I'm very proud of what they're doing and to be a part of it. And it's something that when you're not doing it, there doesn't feel like there's an urgency to do it. Mm-hmm. But when you get in it and you start doing it, you can tell immediately this is needs to be a priority.
Well, in that aspect, the church is the same as jiu-jitsu. We'll just keep going with this. You miss a class. When you're used to going 2 or 3 nights a week, you miss a class. And we're like, well, that was nice.
Yeah.
And then you miss another one.
Yeah, and it
then
becomes more easy.
Another one, and then it's been 6 months, and you hadn't been in churches the same way.
Yeah, it's the same way.
Yeah.
All things worth doing are probably that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
we're strangling each other. Like right now, at 5 minutes until 8. Jason's about to be like, all right, let's roll. And then people are going to be hurting each other down there. It's easy to take a night off from that.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah. I hope, for me, with jiu-jitsu, I get uncomfortable if I have to miss a whole day. Like I get I
bet you do.
I sleep worse.
Yeah.
My back hurts the next day worse. Not to say it doesn't hurt right now. But but I hope I can work out this muscle that is faith to the point of it is uncomfortable not to go. Man. That's my goal, And, I'm a long way from it. But that's the goal. If I can just make it to the point where, I have to go, or it's going to drive me crazy, that would be nice, you know. But I don't know. And we can talk about this, and this is going to be your turn to talk.
Roll it out.
I've never been baptized.
Okay.
Never been baptized. And like I said, I'm very new to this. And I want to say I understand being baptized.
Yeah.
But also I'm not sure I fully understand what it is to be baptized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say I don't understand it, but like that's the best way I know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Like to the max. And I know when you go to whoever and you tell them you want to be baptized, there's definitely some protocol after that, I would imagine.
Right. Yeah.
And that's probably where I would learn what I'm missing.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are pieces you kind of got to put together beforehand. Like you're sure in your faith, and you understand that Jesus is who he said he was, and the Son of God, and the sacrifice for our sin, and we call it the propitiation, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Which seems like the most basic tenets of Christianity.
Yeah,
like then you understand that, and you understand that you need that, mm-hmm. you need that Savior because we're just bad people, and you think about all the nice things you've ever done for people. Like, this are all the good things that I've done. And then you can look at the other side of this line here where all the rotten stuff you've ever done.
Right.
And to think about one of those rotten things in your life is enough to keep you out of heaven.
Right.
You're like, holy smokes, no matter all this good you did. So I need this Savior, this person to intervene on my behalf and be this sacrifice for me. And then you understand that that's what that is. Mm-hmm. That's the point where you understand that you're a believer, right? And you're what we call a Christian. And then that's when you would be baptized.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
so many people, like, they go to church 3 times and then would be baptized. Well, let's make sure that,
Yeah, it's like that, I haven't really talked about going to church yet with very many people because of the whole people want to go to church 3 times and then be baptized.
Right.
I just don't fully understand what you're committing to yet.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. I want to fully understand and be committed, 100% committed. So I'm in does this sound bad that I say that I'm not in no big hurry?
No.
Should I be in a big hurry? Obviously, like.
There's some urgency, but I don't know that I'd use the word hurry.
Okay. Yeah, hurry is probably
hurry becomes careless, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Urgency,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got something to mill over then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, they did their first set of baptisms in
mm-hmm.
Gray City maybe a month ago. I don't know. I'm so bad with time. But, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
And I think if I say something wrong, you're just going to tell me.
Yeah.
But it's so cool for them to do them, and this might be why they do this, in front of everybody. Because it is a very inspiring thing.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful, and you're glad you can share that moment with the people.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a public thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a public thing.
Okay, it's supposed to be witnessed.
So when you get baptized, people are, even back in like the biblical times, people were getting baptized. A bunch of folks were there, and they could say, yeah, I was there when he got baptized and I saw it.
Yeah.
Right? These days we got cameras and phones and all kinds of stuff. Everybody sees it. But that's you repent and then you're baptized. So repent means you turn away from all your sin and all that stuff. Doesn't mean you're never going to make a mistake again. It just means you work every day not to.
You're going to commit. It's a signing of the document.
Right.
It is a commitment.
Right. So then the command in Scripture over and over is to repent and be baptized.
Okay.
So being baptized is not what saves you. It's what shows everybody else that you've been saved.
Yeah.
So it's a public thing.
Okay.
And it is inspiring to watch. And every time you have a baptism service, there's like 25 people that are like, I need to get baptized. And like, well, let's pump the brakes a little bit. And
it
make
means
sure
a lot.
that
It means a lot. And to just do it because it feels nice is not what I want. And that's the only reason I bring it up.
Right.
Because it did feel nice.
Yeah.
And they're doing them on Easter. But I don't see myself doing it on Easter yet. not at this moment, sitting here at this table.
You
You
got 2
know,
weeks.
but honestly, by the end of this conversation, Danny, we might go down there to the fountain. I don't know. You know
I
what
mean,
I mean? But what I'm saying is, I just
need the Coosa River still. I've
Yeah.
got the Etowah and the Oostanala. I
really got
baptized
checked
people
down?
in.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I just I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
I'm working at it.
yeah.
You know.
Don't rush it. Like there's some urgency there,
Yeah.
but don't rush
Yeah.
it. You don't want to get baptized and then be like, well, I don't know if this was for me, because getting baptized. We'll come back to jiu-jitsu. Getting baptized is the blue belt blues
Okay.
for so many
That's
people.
when it gets hard.
Yeah.
This is
So
when it's real.
the blue belt blues, for people that are not familiar with jiu-jitsu, is
Okay.
that you stick a blue belt on somebody and 90% quit.
Yeah.
They never come back again.
Yeah, yeah. Or they stay right there and do not progress any farther
Right.
for years.
That's me right now, as it turns out.
You know, that's okay. At least you know it. That was a really good analogy for
Yeah,
me, at
yeah.
least as a jiu-jitsu coach. I see
Right.
that. Okay, well,
But I can't tell you how many people I've seen, Tango, you've seen them, come up in front of the church. I want to be baptized. Okay, cool. Next Sunday, we dunk them. They join the church. Never see them again.
really?
Yeah, that's the thing. It happens. Ask John. He'll tell you.
Okay.
So don't be that guy. Make sure that it's,
Yeah. Yeah,
the
no.
real deal.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I want to, like, the same reason I didn't advertise I was going to church a whole lot. I don't know, that might sound terrible. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure that I'm walking the walk.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing. In 20 years, and you've been a believer, and you've done all this stuff, and we're looking at this way into hindsight, and you're telling everybody you know about going to church.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because at that point, it's not about you. It's about you sharing this message. Right now, it's about you.
Right.
And you getting this stuff figured out.
Right.
You're not in a place yet
Exactly.
to share the gospel and all these things.
I'm just now learning what I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm learning anything yet.
Yeah.
I'm just now learning.
the first
that
time
I-
you came to jiu-jitsu,
that I
and that
don't know
guy
things.
choked you, like,
Yeah.
and you were like, well, what just happened to me? I don't even
Yeah.
understand what just happened. That's kind of where
I
you're
can't
at right
even
now.
make sense of it yet.
Yeah,
You know, I'm
yeah.
learning to talk the language in a way. You
Yeah.
know? And and the other thing is, like, I wanna be a good representative of this. I don't
Yeah.
want to be thinking, and maybe I'm doing that right now, or maybe I'm not on the podcast. I might sound just the same way as I felt like I sounded silly when I was 19. I'm sure when I watch this, I'm 29.
Yeah.
When I'm 39, I hopefully I'll listen back on this and think I'm a goober, which is great. I'm okay with that. I'm getting beat up right now.
Right.
It's great.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I want to be a good representative of this. I want to be like, in my opinion, how do you be Christ-like when you don't even know what that means yet?
Well, you
know what I
can't.
mean? Does that make
You
sense?
can't, yeah.
So I'm still learning what that means.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I say you can't. You exemplify that, I think, more than you realize.
yeah.
Just down the street in this room that we all go to and choke each other.
Well, that's
like
what I would
you're-
always, before I was even attempting, that's what I would always describe what I was doing.
Yeah.
And my very little religious efforts prior to going to church, people would be like, okay, you're a Christian, so what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
So I just attempt to be as Christ-like as possible. And, I know Bible stories.
Yeah.
So I just mimic this, the same way as that my baby is going to mimic me,
Yeah. It really is that simple. And people make it into this huge thing if we know the Bible and then we just do what it tells us to do.
Yeah.
Like that's really all it is.
Yeah. And we're in Acts right now. We're doing Acts. We've been in Acts the whole time. I'm not great at remembering which ones we're in.
I'm not either. I'm
But-
bad. I can't tell you. It was Matthew 21:13. Like, I'm not good at that.
But just from the beginning of Acts, when I've started going, it is so cool to, like I said, I'm not good at remembering. I'm not a memory. I'm not like Jason, who can remember the part of the jiu-jitsu instructional where he saw that certain technique.
Right, yeah.
And he'll go back to the minute it happened. I
Yeah.
can't do that. I'm not good at that. But the stories of, there was a situation, I think it was Peter, and he asked the guy, what is Christ like? What is that to you? And the guy replied with, to love God, love people. You know, and that was like, it was in Acts somewhere, but the beginning. But anyways,
I should know. Yeah.
it's okay. But like stuff like that. I'm learning stuff like that, and like I said, I can't recite it to you.
Yeah.
I'm not regurgitating anything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do my best to take real things and apply it in life, And like yesterday, I learned that the word faith, like everybody says that, and I say it. I love the word faith.
Yeah.
I've used the word. I'll throw the word faith out there all the time.
You've told me that you had faith in me for one thing or another. So,
Yeah,
I've heard you say a million times.
And I'm not even sure that I should be saying that sometimes. I don't even know.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, but so the word faith, in God, like the way he described it, defined it, and maybe I might be misquoting him, so I'm not
just in the ballpark.
But it's trust in the unseen God. Like that's how simple it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't have to make it any it's more complicated than
that's
that.
That's it. Yeah,
and it's like wow, like okay, I can remember that.
Yeah,
that'll stick with me.
Faith is, as defined by Scripture, faith is the evidence. Man, I had this in my head just now. The evidence, it's the substance. Holy smokes. It's the evidence of, wow. Man, I was going to quote this verse. And it's believing in what we can't see.
Yeah.
The evidence of things hoped for, the substance of things not seen.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're going to have to write that down.
Yeah,
See that?
yeah.
That was Scripture?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, see, I'm so bad at Scripture. I got to get better at this. I got to get...
Well, you saw how it worked out for me just now.
Yeah. I'm going to get better.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm just getting a lot out of it. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe I would feel like this if we started in whatever book. But
it's cool, though, because Acts, and you've seen this, is the beginning of what we know of as the church.
Yeah.
The church started in Acts, and it's cool that you're kind of starting your journey.
That might be why he chose that. I'm not sure.
But probably. Because he started this church in July, August. Yeah.
But so it is really cool. I love it, and I don't know, just you hear Bible stories as a kid, and a kid in a family that's we're Christian, but you know what I mean? Like you're not doing the acts. You're saying it.
Yeah.
But the Bible story, you hear them, but they didn't mean anything to me. I didn't understand. They were stories.
Yeah.
The same way that Hercules
Any
was.
old book. Yeah.
Or Achilles. They were stories of famous people that we're passing down, and there's morals to the stories.
Yeah, yeah.
But now, like, as I'm older and as it means something to me and I've learned to be a better student, it is cool to, it means something. You know what I mean? And it matter.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. It's good stuff, man. And it's a journey.
I like conversations like this too.
Yeah.
Where I'm vulnerable. Like I'm putting myself out there to sound stupid, but I like that. I feel like that's how I learn.
Yeah.
Is like touching the hot stove, and
yeah. That's the way that it's done though so many times, because there are people who can sit and read and learn, and I'm not one of those people, and I don't think you are either. We've got to touch the hot stove, do things the hard way a few times, and then figure out how it's done right. So that's okay too.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I've heard you do it before, but it is very comparable to what I do on a daily basis. I think anybody could probably take their job and compare it to church,
ideally,
and use their experience in other things or their experience in church to make them better at these other things or vice versa.
But you're leading people though, so it's a lot more, it's easier to compare it to what I do on Sunday mornings. Like you stand in front of the room and you give the instruction, you set the tone for the room. Mm-hmm. If you're having a bad day, then everybody's having a bad day because it rubs off, and
I can't afford to be off on kids class.
You got to be A game every day
because it's not just my, experience.
Yeah. Which you're phenomenal. I'll brag on you for a minute. I like to do this, and every time we sit down and record an episode, you're a fantastic coach.
Yeah. I work really hard at it.
You do.
I work really hard. It means a lot to me. And, I've learned a lot through the years about kids and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I've said it before 100 times, people will treat kids' sports like they don't matter. Yeah. But they matter because it matters to the kid, and they're doing all this work, and you shouldn't tell them it doesn't matter. Just, you shouldn't tell them that, so it matters to me, and that's what makes me different than most coaches is most coaches are like, who cares? They're going to get better. We've got the rest of our life to get better at jiu-jitsu. And I'll tell some people that sometimes, but you'll never hear me tell them it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That they lost in practice or that they didn't get a stripe today,
Right.
or that whatever. Insert. It's always going to matter to me. And I think that's a big separator between me and most people that do what I do.
Yeah.
Which is,
You invest yourself in it so much, though.
yeah,
When a new kid comes to class, it doesn't take you 6 classes to remember his name.
right. No, I work at it.
You work at
I'll
it
ask him 4 or 5 times in one class.
tonight, right now. What's your name? Tell me your name again.
Yeah.
Tommy. Okay, Tommy. And you stick with it, and you got it. But it's that amount of effort that goes into it.
Yeah.
Because I think you see Tommy 30 years from now as a black belt,
Yep.
and you guys are side by side.
Yeah.
And so that's the investment that you want to make.
You know what? I've messed it up a bunch. Like with my little brother is the best example. I was training like a madman. Mm-hmm. He was naturally talented, and at the time, just because a kid tells you they want something, it doesn't mean it's what they need.
Right.
And he wanted to stay at the gym, and it's the difference in like motivation and discipline. In the moment, a kid will follow their motivation 100 times out of 100 times.
Yeah.
But they don't have the maturity to apply discipline yet and understand the long game.
Right.
Right? And so he would fall out of jiu-jitsu for a few months, but then come back for 6 and be motivated
Right.
and want to be there for his class and then wait through the striking class. Or I can't remember. I think I would do my striking class and then do kids class and then do adults jiu-jitsu, and he would have to stay for all of it.
Right.
And he's 6, 7, 8 years old. And there were tales that I was burning him out, like he would quit for 2 months,
Right.
right? And then come back motivated again.
Yeah.
And I just thought he was being a kid, but there were tales. It was him. It was, the situation was telling me that I'm burning him out. So now he's 18 or 19, 18. I don't know. I'm bad at that.
Let's see, 10 years younger than you, 11?
10 or 11. So
Yeah.
he's either 18 or 19.
18 or 19.
But I can't get him to come.
Yeah.
And that's my fault. I can't blame him for that. I did that to him in a way, and for the most part. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's a kid. You can't blame a 7-year-old kid for nothing.
Right. Well, you've talked about it before, though. Jiu-jitsu season never ends.
It never ends. It's the rest of your life.
So it's not like we play baseball from March until July, and then we
Yeah.
don't do it again until March.
Right.
That's not long enough to get burned out. Like, we'll come back and do
Right.
it again next year.
Yep.
But you got to have a break.
Yeah, you got to. Or pace yourself.
Pace
at
yourself,
the very
yeah.
least, And I didn't do that. So I've messed it up a bunch, right? I remember when I was a young coach, because I kind of started coaching at 16 because
That's
he was
tough.
6.
Yeah.
Because he was 6. So I started coaching him. So I started helping with kids class.
Yeah.
16, 17, 18. So as a young coach, I messed it up so much because I wanted to coach the best kids.
Yeah.
It's not those. Those kids don't need you.
Right.
It's not the best kids that need you.
Yeah.
It's those other guys.
Yeah.
And I was blessed with a really good wrestling coach that I was coaching under. He was the head coach, Joey Harris, and he's an amazing man. And he coached our Murchie for a while. And, he said, I don't want to be judged by the best kid on my team. I want to be judged by the worst.
Yeah.
And I stole that from him immediately.
Oh, yeah,
And I
yeah.
realized all those follies throughout the years that I was just ignoring these kids that really need me. To take a kid from second place to first place, that's one position.
Yeah.
He might have won it without you.
Right.
Maybe it was a bad call that put him in second place in the first place.
Right.
But to take a kid from winning no matches or 2 matches, their first year of jiu-jitsu or wrestling or something, and elevate them to 50% of the time they're winning,
Yeah.
that's still not a great kid.
It's not.
But it's a huge
it's
leap.
way better. Yeah.
And it means more, to that kid, I promise. And, I learned that the hard way a lot. So I've messed it up a whole bunch, and I took a lot of things for granted through the years. And, this kind of hits home for both of us a little bit. But with Joseph, that was something that I learned really hard from that experience, was like just how much just taking this for granted and pretending like, yeah, we're going to do it again Monday.
Yeah.
We're going to do it again Monday. No, you might not do it Monday.
You might not.
You might not do it Monday.
We don't
You might
know.
you might get a phone call Friday morning.
Yeah.
And so you better take Thursday pretty freaking serious.
Yeah.
And I think that is another thing that I carried with me onto the mat tonight. and tomorrow I'm going to carry it onto the mat with me, and I'm going to carry it to me at church, with me at church. And that is, like you're kind of talking about the urgency with the baptism thing, that's the urgency.
Yeah.
And like I carry that with me, and that is this will be the only time I cuss, but that is a shitty way to learn that lesson. But I'm thankful that I didn't not take advantage of that lesson when I was taught it,
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I think that I am a good coach, and I don't say it a lot, but it's from those lessons and those hardships and stuff, and doing it wrong a bunch.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky to have parents that still trust me after
man.
this.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, everybody wants to count all the great kids like Theodore Chestnut or Cameron Espy or Matthew Boyles or Jonathan Fogus or these great guys that I've got to coach through the years that I'm blessed with. But, there's a lot of guys that I ran off, and maybe they didn't need, they needed me to do something different, and maybe I needed to bring a little bit different energy or something,
Yeah.
So
yeah, I remember one time I talked a kid into coaching wrestling or into quitting wrestling because
to save him from
it just
himself.
wasn't for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes that's a favor. I don't know.
Yeah. He might be in this room right now.
I thought so. Yeah. No,
but that's part of being a coach is just being honest with your kids, loving them enough to say, hey, this is where you failed.
Yep.
Right, and this is what you need to work on.
And and building the trust with them, so when you say it, it resonates. That it's not you being mean.
Yeah.
It's you coaching them, because it's so easy to just be mean.
Yeah, you just yell at your kids and call them by their last name, and
it's so
whatever.
easy to be. You could say the same thing.
Yeah.
I saw a comedy thing today. It's like daylight savings time.
Mm-hmm.
If they said, "Hey, we're all just going to go to work an hour early," everyone would riot in the streets. If they said it like that, everyone has to. You have to wake your kid up an hour early. You have to go to work an hour early. You're going to lose an hour of sleep.
Yeah.
Everyone would knock businesses' windows out.
Yeah.
But then they say it different, and everybody does it.
We just do it. We just
you know what I
sign
mean?
up.
So it's the delivery,
Right.
and that's big,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of like the disagreements I have with people in my life. It's not what I said; it's the way I said it.
How you said it.
Yeah, or maybe the time I said it or whatever. It's the circumstances,
Yeah.
But
Well, what you do though, one of the things that stood out to me in my first 2 or 3 jiu-jitsu classes, I think Jason coached the first class that I ever did, and you might have done the second. But you both did the same thing. You went through the warm-up with us.
yeah,
The worst part of class is the warm-up.
yeah.
You run and you do the rolls.
And you don't have
and
to.
You do the
You could just watch. You could just make the purple belt run them.
yeah, or you could just shout out instructions and whatever.
Yeah.
But you guys do that stuff with us, and that's Jesus did the stuff with his guys.
Yeah.
He walked down the same roads, and he was cold and hungry and tired and all the same stuff that all of the disciples were, and he just did it with them.
Yep, just a leader of men,
Yeah.
and leader of tough guys too, like, I don't know. It's just so cool to learn about that stuff because you just don't know it, when you don't know it. But to learn about all that, and it just, I don't know, it's just so nice to get in there and to be trusted with leadership in that way by everyone.
Yeah.
But you have to earn it because there's so many people that are trusted with leadership that aren't earning it constantly.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you get because of your belt rank. It's not something you get because of your age or your title, like coach. It's
Or pastor.
Yeah, you got to earn it. And I'm very lucky to have the group of guys I have because they make me earn it, and I love that. Man, it lights me on fire. This lights me on fire.
Yeah.
But it's good. We've done some good stuff. I'm glad that people can recognize how hard I work at it because I work at it so hard.
Yeah.
The only thing I probably work at harder than that is the turkey hunt.
Turkey hunting. Yeah.
Probably.
Which is about that time. We got a few days left, right? And then it's today's the
opener
11th?
is the last weekend in March.
Okay. The
For
30th.
private land.
I don't have any private land.
I
You got private
some, but
land?
not enough. Yeah. I could cover miles and miles and miles and miles. Yeah. But youth opens up before that, but I don't know.
I'm not a youth though. I don't.
Yeah, me neither. Doesn't help me a whole lot.
Not much.
But so we're getting ready for that. Got to stay in shape. We talked about it today. Got a wrestling tournament coming up. I'm gonna get murdered
You got 2 wrestling tournaments in 2 days.
in one day. It's on
Are they both the same day? Which day are they?
Saturday.
They're both on Saturday.
Yep. That's going to stink.
So April 27th, Tango, we were talking about this. I texted you last night.
Oh, me.
PJ's going to do Greco-Roman and freestyle wrestling in the same day.
Yep. I competed in both of them once. I was I was an 8th grader. My coach didn't explain to me the rules.
Oh, okay.
He just said,
So you just got like 6-point thrown your very first
Greco
match?
was super boring. I think I got like borderline DQ'd. I lost because I kept grabbing the guy's legs. They said,
Oh, yeah.
They said, look, this tournament, this bracket, you're allowed to wrestle the way you normally wrestle. Just wrestle, get on top, and stay on top until the referee says stop. So that was freestyle, which I guess is acceptable advice. I mean, like,
it's just like adequate.
and then this other rule set, they were like, this is only throws, so you can only throw the guy. Also, P.S. I was 90 pounds, so not a lot of throwing going on for me. No. I was in 8th grade and 90 pounds.
Oh man.
So yeah, but they didn't tell me you couldn't grab the legs,
right?
And I panicked and just grabbed the leg and gave away a bunch of points.
Instinct.
I can't even really remember. I only had like 4 or 5 matches between the two of them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I won a single. I think I won
maybe
one.
How it goes this time
I think
around
I won
too.
One. That might be how it goes.
So we're in the middle. Yeah, you guys might have heard us mention this. I think we talked about it some when Rob West was on. PJ is in the middle of, we're making this documentary with Burnham Project. PJ's in the middle of a quest to compete in as many different grappling arts as possible over the course of the year. We've already done folk style wrestling, sumo wrestling.
Yeah. We had judo on the board, but I ended up getting busy and couldn't go.
Yeah, that was lame.
So I got to do Greco and freestyle wrestling in the same day. That's gonna stink.
That's gonna be fantastic.
It's probably the most competitive one I'll do outside of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna have to do it against black belts.
Yeah. But this is like,
this is
strong upper body, muscle guy stuff. And
not me, bud.
Yeah.
I've got like 11.5-inch arms. It might be generous. I don't know what my arms are. They're not very good.
We'll measure
so bad
before we air the documentary.
Just put NA for
NA
my
for biceps.
Arm measurements. We just won't even find out. Let's just stay ignorant. But yeah, it's going to be not great. It's going to be college wrestlers probably, if I had to guess. Either that or very, very serious high school wrestlers.
Yeah.
Which may be worse.
That's worse.
Because they got the motor.
Yeah, like they got that slammed by some 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, but whatever. I've done the two. So far, the sumo wrestling and the folk style wrestling, I've exceeded expectations both times.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to do it again. That's the goal. I don't have to win the tournament, whatever.
Yeah,
but I'm just going to
No, the goal is to compete in all these different sports. It's not to win.
Survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sprained my LCL the other day. That's the thing in your knee.
Was it definitely a sprain?
It's either best case scenario it's a sprain, worst case scenario it's like a partial tear.
Okay, I didn't know if you knew something.
It's still intact.
Since last we talked, yeah.
It still hurts. I can't do certain things.
Yeah.
I did jiu-jitsu class yesterday, and I kind of tested it out.
Yeah.
And
so it's March the 12th, and you've got a sprained LCL.
And we're talking about on like late April.
Competing in April 27th.
And the worst part is, it's like deep into turkey season, so it's gonna be hard for me to train that much. I'm gonna do it. But I'm a turkey hunting fiend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've got to go to Texas for.
You got to get the Rio Grande bird,
the
right?
Rio Grande, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be my third one towards the Grand Slam for turkey hunting. But yeah, so Greco and freestyle are probably the ones I'm going to get beat at the worst. The only one that could go as bad as that is jiu-jitsu. It's because black belts are really good. I'm a black belt, but also like when two black belts go out there,
so's the other guy.
Anything could happen. Like maybe I smoke him in 10, maybe we have a slobber knocker, or maybe I get smoked in 10.
Oh, man.
But, we're going to make it happen. Hopefully we get to do 10 grappling arts.
Hopefully. I wasn't going to say a number in case we don't make it.
In case we don't make it?
Yeah.
Well, now I've put it out there.
Good enough. It's all good. We'll get there.
But, so I gotta get in shape. I got to lose a few pounds, Got to compete at, what did I say, 49?
I think you said 49, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to do 57. 57 is going to be big, guys.
57 that's big for you. You're like 53.
Like right now I'm kind of chunky. I'm walking around about 58.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have to cut,
But you're not like in super shape. You're not
competition
training
shape
right
at all.
now. Yeah.
Not at all.
So you could easily drop 6-7 pounds.
I can be at 149 by this Friday.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm gonna try to gradually.
Yeah.
I'll just quit drinking beer, which is gonna be the hardest.
That's
part.
tough, right?
Yeah. Quit eating chocolate.
Okay.
Is usually the two things I do to make 149. If I quit drinking beer and quit eating, I say chocolate, but I mean like bread, like donuts, crap like that.
Stuff from the rock store.
Yeah. But if I just quit it drinking beer and quit eating bread, I make 49 without adding anything extra. You know what I mean? I could probably make 39. The next weight class down is 39.
That's tough.
I just don't want to. I don't want to. It's day before weigh-ins though. So if I could get to 46, which I can easily do, I can do a water cut on Friday. But then this is what happens to me when I do those weight classes. No one comes and they bump me up a weight class.
You get bumped anyway, yeah.
And it's like, this is stupid.
There aren't a ton of grown men out there at 139 pounds.
No, it's sad. I wish
Just
there
aren't.
was.
So you get close to that 150
mark. The ones
mark.
that are, just avoid ass kicking contests. Oh, I cussed twice.
Oh.
Dang it. Yeah. But, they just don't go to butt kicking contests.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they do whatever they do. I don't know, knit or whatever normal 135-year-old man do. 135-pound men do. Just hide from big guys is usually what they do, I think.
Who can blame them, though?
Piggyback ride on their wife's backs or whatever. Those small fellas like me. I don't know what they normally do. Somehow I ended up in this profession.
Oh, man. You're a little bit unhinged.
Yeah, it's stupid.
But we love you.
It's dumb. It's so dumb. I can't believe I keep going out there for everyone's entertainment.
I mean, it was your idea.
Yeah, it ended up being my idea.
I told you it was your idea.
I thought it was your idea.
You texted me and you were like,
think?
hey, I had this idea.
I think you came to the gym one day and told me you wanted to start doing grappling documentaries. And then I texted you that night because I was drinking.
I said we should do a thing like Daisy Fresh on Flow. You ever seen their series?
Yeah, where they just
they just kind of hang out and
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
And then you took it to this whole different thing, and now
I always thought this would be cool. This was an
it's
idea.
Fantastic.
This was an idea I've had for years.
Yeah,
just take a guy, enter him in a whole bunch of stuff.
You're a guy.
Here I am doing stuff.
Let's do it. Let's do it. The guy.
Apparently, yeah. This is gonna be fun.
Tango, I told him after this, like, I hope this progresses into him just trying random stuff like riding bulls and driving. We know people in racing. You can drive a race car.
No, I don't see myself doing that. I don't see myself doing anything too extreme. My dad was always very adamant that I didn't rodeo.
Yeah. Dad's a rodeo cowboy.
Yeah, and he didn't want me to. He says he saw me get on the spur board, which is just it's 2x4s with plywood nailed to the side of it with a rigging on top of it.
Okay.
And you just practice your spurring.
Yeah.
And, they practice their spurring. And I was like an 8-year-old kid. And he put me on there one time just to be funny. And he said I spurred the crap out of it, and he just snatched me off of it and never let me get back on it.
Too good at it.
And we would go to those rodeos, and I would get on the bucking machines.
Yeah.
And, I would just do my very best, and spend way too much money on them things,
Yeah.
But when I was like...
now you're in the safe and secure world of
and
martial arts.
Well, he acts like... he says what I do is more dangerous. But here's the difference. I'm fighting 150-pound things, and they stop when I ask them to.
Well, that's when
I yelp and say mercy, they let go.
Even in training, and I'm in there with you, and I'm 80 pounds bigger than you, and I'm choking. You just tap me, and I'll let you. We can reason with each other.
The bull or the horse or whatever you're getting on.
There's no reasoning with that guy.
No, you strapped yourself to a 1,500-pound thing that wants you dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, that's not how I've
always
how
said
is what
that.
I'm doing more dangerous?
Yeah, you can't reason with the bull or with the bronc or whatever. Yeah.
No, yeah. But, and I saw him hurt a bunch when I was a kid. I saw him hurt a whole lot. And the only reason he quit, he was in his 40s when he quit, which is a crazy long career.
That's insane, yeah.
Yeah, he did it all the way through. He started doing it, I think, his senior year in high school.
Yeah.
Did it all the way through college and all the way into his 40s. And won the Southeastern Circuit twice. Like, he was really good.
Yeah.
Well,
you don't stick around 20 years if you're not also good. You got to be tough and good.
Yeah, and that's probably a lot of the reason that I'm good at jiu-jitsu is the same type of stuff. Yeah. But I saw him hurt a bunch and that stuff. I saw him hurt a lot, and that's the only reason he quit is what I was saying is because he broke his arm so bad his wrist doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
So he can't run his hand in a rigging. He considered going back left-handed. That's how, after 20 years of doing it right-handed, he considered trying to relearn it left-handed.
Relearn the entire game.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's bold. But he didn't do it, thank goodness.
Yeah.
It was his time to stop doing it.
You go back to something like that in that scenario, and like you're too tough for your own good at that point.
Yeah, it's like the MMA fighters that fight, like Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's knocked
Just
out
stop
like
it.
8 times
7
in a row.
times in a row.
Yeah.
Just stop it. Or Junior Dos Santos or whatever. Like these guys that are just, like, I respect you so much for wanting to keep doing it and having the guts to go do it again. But, dude, just give it a rest.
I had this conversation with Ken Shamrock one time.
Oh, wow.
I got to interview him. He was here in Rome for the Battle of Rome, whatever.
Yeah.
And they put me in this little broom closet, and it's me and the world's most dangerous man, right?
Wow.
That's what they called him. And he's in there eating Jefferson's wings. And he's like, hey, you want some wings? I was like, yeah, I'll eat wings with Ken Shamrock.
That's pretty cool.
And so I was like, Ken, what are you doing, dude?
This just shows how old you are. You are
I know,
so
right?
old.
He was like, Ken's like 48 at this point. This has been 15 years ago now. I'm like, Ken, what are you doing? Like, what? And he's like, man, it's like my victory lap. And I'm like, Ken, dude, I've seen your fights. Like, there's nothing victory about this,
Tough. That's tough.
That was a hard conversation for me to have because I thought he was just going to
I feel about
strangle me any
jiu-jitsu.
second. Yeah.
I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to, like the old Viking funeral. Y'all just put me on a boat. And,
push you out.
Yeah, light me on fire. You know what I mean? Like, let me be done with it. One last hurrah is probably this thing we're doing. But I still love to compete.
Yeah.
And I understand why my dad would want to go back for that. I'm a competitor more than I am anything else with jiu-jitsu or grappling or anything, badminton, chess, any of it. More than any of that, I'm more of a competitor than I am a student of the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's really like the biggest difference in someone like Jason and me is that he loves being a student of the game.
Yeah.
He is infatuated with that.
Well, I noticed my first ever class, Jason teaches this technique, and he's like, if you grab here and you push there, it attacks this muscle group, and he named the muscle.
Yeah.
And like that's the detail he's
He's
getting
the
into.
only jiu-jitsu coach I've ever heard use the word dorsiflex.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, what? Why?
Well, and then you're in the room and you're like, you got him here and you're holding this. And if you really want to be a jerk, you'll just stick your elbow in his eye socket. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's just
not the
different.
dorsiflex,
Yeah, it's like, no, oh, you mean like try to catch a cramp in my foot?
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. Dorsiflex, whatever, man.
Different styles.
But so I think that's the biggest thing with me is that, I do jiu-jitsu for the struggle.
Yeah.
I like it. And I like getting better, and I like coaching people, and I like all this. I like learning.
Yeah.
I like improving at things and adding stuff, but dude, the struggle of it.
Well, you're what when I coached football and wrestling and a bunch of sports for a bunch of years. You're what we would refer to as a dog.
Yeah, just
like we don't have to tell you to get ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I do, and I'm not very good at jiu-jitsu. Like when I say not very good, everyone thinks I'm very good at, like, for this pond. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not. When I say I'm not very good, I mean there are people on this earth that can dismantle me in moments.
In the grand scheme of things,
you see what I'm saying?
Roca
That's
could
good.
probably,
They're good.
yeah.
They're good. I can't even drag it out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They can beat me however they want. If I go 100 times out of 100 times, they're going to beat me.
Yeah.
So,
you're the only person that's ever laughed while I was choking you.
Oh, no, I love it.
Yeah, it's fantastic,
I love it.
right?
It's amazing. I love that people improve.
That doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
But,
Well, that's my role in the community is to
Yeah.
make it where you can choke me. If Scott Frazier beats the crap out of me on Sunday afternoon at competition class, I'm doing my job
Scotty.
so good.
Yeah.
I'm doing my job so good. And there are stupid, dumb, meathead jiu-jitsu coaches that will say things like, one of my students have never tapped me.
That's dumb.
Homie, that's the dumbest.
Yeah.
Do you understand what that says about you as a coach?
Yeah, where are your guys? What
You're
have you done
old,
for
washed up, and ain't competed in 15 years, and you still don't have a student that can tap you?
Yeah.
And not to say that they have to beat the crap out of you every moment of every round, but they
Right.
can't catch you slipping once.
Yeah.
Like, one, you're lying.
Right.
Two, if you weren't lying, you're a terrible coach.
Yeah.
But
You incentivized it. When was the month that you did?
That was 2 Julys ago.
Was it 2 Julys ago now?
So that would be 2022, July 2022, from July 1st to the 1st of August. Anyone who tapped me out, I would give them a free shirt.
Yeah.
I got tapped out 3 times.
Was it just 3?
It was only 3.
I was thinking, I guess that's probably about right.
It was only 3. Trip Durden got me on the 4th of July.
America.
Yeah. He got me fair and square, too. He got me good.
Well, Tripp's a giant, and he's
Steve
pretty
Cox wanted a free shirt so bad
good. Whatever it takes.
that he was willing to tear my limb from my body, and he got me. But if I was shaped like Steve, he wouldn't have tapped me.
Yeah.
If I was built like, the Winter Soldier like Steve is,
Right,
I would
Steve's a
have been
monster.
fine. But he would have definitely tore my Kermit leg from my body, right? Like, my legs are as strong as a Muppet's legs, like, the ones that don't do anything.
Yeah.
So it's like I got double atrophy in both bodies. So he would have broke my ankle. And then my ankle was sore, and Mark Spates
Mr. Straight Ankle himself.
got me like 5 days later.
Yeah.
On the same ankle, and my ankle, I ain't gonna lie, my ankle was so sore. It was so sore, and so they got me. It snowballed. Steve snowballed and got me. So I got tapped 3 times, and congrats to those 3 for doing it.
Yeah. But you incentivized people beating you for a month. That was
And
great.
don't get me wrong, I wasn't trying to beat them up the whole round, but I was definitely trying not to lose.
Well, but you were getting, like, there was a T-shirt on the line.
Yeah.
So you're getting everybody's A game.
And I would also take a picture with them while they held the T-shirt, like a jersey swap. And then post it in our group. So there
Right.
was clout associated with it too. So for that month, they did try to dog me out.
Yeah, everybody's trying to kill you for a T-shirt for a
and
whole month.
They tried to murder me.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
fun. I'll probably never do it again. I'll probably never do it again. That was terrible.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was a good time. I'm always coming up with little things like this quest.
Yeah.
Or the month of kick PJ's butt or whatever, I'm just always trying to come up with things that are hard to do.
Yeah.
I made the adults class for warm-up do, what was it? 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, 20 bodyweight squats, and 20 Nordics.
The Nordic, yeah.
Yeah,
Last
and
time I was over, we
everybody
did
hated
that.
the Nordic. They're like, I'm going to dislocate my kneecap.
I didn't mind them so much.
Yeah, really?
They were hard, but it was what it was.
But I just like coming up with hard stuff.
Yeah.
And doing that's why we do jiu-jitsu.
I'll do that any day as opposed to that dynamic warm-up.
Which one's that?
The one where we run in the circles for 20
you mean
minutes.
like a
and
traditional
then we do all
jiu-jitsu
the
warm-up.
roll. Oh, God.
That's got a place and time,
It
too.
does. It does. My problem is I can't dedicate enough time to train consistently enough
To get to the point
get in
to
shape.
where that's easy.
Yeah. So
It's
I
going to
just
be very, very difficult every time you do
I
it.
have to recover from the warm up. I can kind of do the warm up, or I can roll at the end, but I can't really
It's
do both.
super hard to do both.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something to consider. I think we do sometimes go a little too hard, but that's the identity of us.
Man,
That's the
it's-
culture of us.
Yeah, it's supposed to. I noticed that the first time I ever trained at another gym,
Yeah. Just how different
and
it was.
yeah, it wasn't like it's gritty down the street here, and like it's not only like accepted, it's appreciated.
Yes.
Like you hit a nasty sweep on somebody, or you just sink a choke, and it's like, okay, you got me.
I'm always telling people you are in the wrong place if you don't want your butt whipped.
Oh man!
If you don't want your butt whipped, there are tennis courts 2.8 miles up the road at Etowah. Maybe you should try pickleball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because in this place, we're kicking each other's butt.
Yeah.
And if you don't like that, I don't care what belt rank you are. I don't care how big you are. I don't care your gender. You're in the wrong place if you don't want your butt whipped.
Nah, you're getting handled in there.
But yeah, we're very lucky.
But we'll tie that back into scripture, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Where you think about something like you trained at Chip Coffey's place forever, and
Yeah.
up on the wall in there had Proverbs 27:17. You remember what it is?
As iron sharpens iron, so does one person sharpen another.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I've got it in a bunch of pictures on my
Yeah,
phone. From
a million
his,
pictures.
Yeah, from his gym
So
when I
that's
trained
the
there.
case in jiu-jitsu or
Yeah.
church, our walk. Sometimes I got to tell you, hey, PJ, you cuss too much.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's
like,
fine.
it's- right.
And just
And that's our iron
you
sharpening
can't hurt.
iron.
You can't hurt my feelings with it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take it as a shot to my ego, and in fact, I will, but in a way of reform rather than
Right.
lashing back out. I'm pretty good about that.
Got to be willing to have your iron sharpened, right?
Yes, exactly. That sounds good. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you,
man. It's been fun.
It has been. I've enjoyed it. We'll do it again sometime.
I'm glad I made it through without looking too stupid. I think maybe
you did great.
Maybe 39-year-old PJ will watch this 10 years from now.
Yeah, we'll run it back. It'll be great.
Yeah.
All right. God bless you guys. We love you. See you next time. Footage then.
Cool.
So you're wearing a hat right now.
Yeah, I've got a hat on. I don't even know if you can see it. Can you see it?
Yeah, your hair's kind of grown out, but you can see
it's a little grown out.
what looks like a bite mark on the back of your head.
Yeah, I was. Let me think how old I was. I was 8. So that's like 04?
21,
No, 02.
21, 22 years ago.
Yeah, 02. So anyways, I got bit by a dog. And it was a pretty profound experience, as most dog bites are for kids, especially. It's really hard for kids to trust animals as a whole after being bit, right? And we ate McDonald's on the picnic table. We have a concrete picnic table, old school, what I mean, in the yard. And we left the trash, and we were playing in the water hose. And my dad says, "Hey, go clean that trash up. Like where we ate our lunch earlier. Go clean it up so we don't forget it."
Yeah.
And so I went out to clean it up, and my stepmom had a dog that hadn't been around us a whole lot. She was from Miami-ish, and brought the dog up. Hadn't been around me a whole lot, and we would been roughhousing with this dog. This food trash has been out here forever. You know what I mean? We're riding the dog. It's like a 80, 90-pound dog, big dog. We're little kids. Pulling on its tail, spraying it with the water hose, all this, right? And no problems. And I remember getting all the trash and putting it in the bags and then wadding the open part of the bag up and having like a little hammer, with the trash, just like a sack.
Yeah.
And walking by the dog and touching the dog with the bag, just like touching him with it.
Not like whacking him or just
touching him with it, and walked right by him. And it kind of like closed frame, open frame. I don't know if it's like my brain has blocked that part out to like save me of that. Maybe. But I remember like being like chest down and like looking, and my face is buried in the floor, in the ground, right? And looking, and there's a dog leg right here. And then I remember like the pull like of my neck, and something holding me down, but pulling my head up and like tugging on it. And it had my head. It was a cur dog. It was a black-mouthed cur. It was a big dog, a really big one. I think it had like some kind of mastiff in it or something, looking back on it. But it bit my head and had me. And that's where I got these scars, 26 staples. And it was bad, My dad got the dog off me and took me inside. And this is where we screwed up. Maybe somebody can learn something from this. Really bad wounds in my head. There was like dog slobber and pine straw. You know what I mean? Just crap. My dad cleans it out and doesn't want anything else to get in it before we go to the emergency room, so puts Neosporin in there to goop it up, We get there to the emergency room, and, you sit around for 7.5 hours. And then you get back there, and they're like, "Hey, what is all this in his head?" And then he's like, "Well, I disinfected it with peroxide, which hurt like the dickens.
Oh, man.
And put Neosporin in it." And they're like, "Oh, no, we can't have that. We have to clean it out." And like I have these gashes, like 4 huge gashes. And so they take a dish sponge and they scrub it out. And I remember that I was 8 years old. I remember that vividly. It was the worst thing that's ever happened to me, I think. My mom passes out watching it. My dad's about to pass out. Mr. Tough Cowboy guy that gets his arms broke is about to pass out. And they end up putting 24, 26 staples in my head. And you wait a week. And the reason this come up,
we were talking about the Morris's. Roxy pulled the staples out.
It was, I guess, to save us an emergency room visit. Because they said, come back in a week or 10 days.
You go to their house?
Yes. Yes, we went to their house.
Roxy's pulled staples out of your head in her living room.
I sat on her kitchen counter, crisscross applesauce.
Yeah.
While she pulled staples out of my head with channel locks, and it hurt.
That's
bad.
the most PJ Broome and Roxy Morris thing ever.
Yeah, for sure. And I am so blessed. My dog died this week. Actually, a week ago today.
R.I.P. Nasty.
Yeah, great dog.
Yeah.
I had him 12 years, going on 13, since he was 5.5 weeks old. I picked him up early. And the fact that I was able to have that relationship with him was really special to me.
After
all this, because I remember for years after that, if a dog wanted to chase me or play with me, I would go into a full-blown panic attack, But that was a good dog, man. Nasty was such a good dog with my baby. I never even considered he would do something like that with my baby because he was just such a good-natured dog.
Man.
But anyways, there's your bonus little
Holy
tidbit about
smokes.
PJ and his broken head. I've actually got a giant dent in my head. You just can't see it.
Yeah.
Lord help me if I
Your
get
hair's
bald.
long right now.
Yeah, it's kind of long. I need another haircut.
Yeah.
But I got a big dent from one of the teeth where the meat didn't grow back right on my head.
Ugh.
So if you ever see me, shaved head, you might notice a big dent. That's why I try to keep it long on top.
Yeah. Holy
Yeah.
smokes. How tough is PJ Broome, ladies and gentlemen?
Stupid, tough, whatever. One of those. Yep. Anyways, thanks.
Thank you.
It's been fun.
Yeah, man.